Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. So last week I put out a video called If You Think Your Ex Is Never Coming Back, Watch This. And I didn't think I would be talking about the same subject so soon. However, I realized there are a couple of very important points that I left out of that video. And so I said, I have to do another video. So here we are again. But before I start, I want to welcome back my beautiful No Contact Army. If you're having trouble staying in no contact, download the Silencio app. The link is underneath every video and podcast, and it will help you to stay in no contact. And if you too want to join our army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before purchasing the book, and the link to that is under every video and podcast. Okay, so let's talk about this subject again. It's so important it needs 2 videos, not 1. So when you've been broken up with and you want your ex back, but you think that they'll never come back, you are in what's called a heightened emotional state, which means that you are more prone to something called catastrophizing. I can't even say it. It's a long word. Catastrophizing, which means that you're experiencing intrusive thoughts where you're imagining the worst case scenario. And according to an article in The Guardian, these thoughts are, quote, rooted deep in our bodies, an adaptive trait and evolutionary defense mechanism that helps us prepare for the worst, end quote. So this is why you have that negative voice in your head. That's our primitive brain trying to protect us by bringing up the worst case scenario. Thanks a lot. So when we feel out of control or stressed, our primitive coping mechanisms kick in, and this ramps up our fear responses, and it shuts off the logical part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. So the more stressed you feel, the stronger the primitive circuit gets, and the more things feel threatening or sad. So literally, you are not in your right mind because you're in the primitive brain as opposed to the logical brain. And this may have been helpful back in the day when we were cavemen and there was danger everywhere, but that is no longer the case. There isn't danger everywhere, and yet our brains have not yet adapted. So, how do you get back into your right mind? Well, the more time you spend in calm environments, the more in control you'll feel. And you can do this with taking long walks, or even short walks. Being out in nature, deep breathing calms your nervous system. Rubbing your hands together also calms your nervous system. Watching funny TV shows or movies. And exercise, which also strengthens the prefrontal cortex. So those are all good things to get to being in a calm state. As I've mentioned many times before, if you're having a difficult time after a breakup, whether you're trying to get an ex back or not, you have to take care of you. Focus on the things that I just mentioned, and remember that when you have those intrusive thoughts, that's not you, that's your primitive brain. So you can say to it, thank you, I know you're trying to protect me, but I don't need your help right now. Or you can you can say what I say, which is, I don't know who you're talking to, but I am not listening to what you have to say. Okay, so that was the first thing. Now, the second thing that I forgot to mention was faith. And I'm going to get a bit religious here. Often, going through no contact is similar to walking through the valley of the shadow of death. And everyone who wants their ex back has to walk through that valley. There's no escaping it. You're afraid that you'll never hear from your ex, despite how many times I've said that 90% of people will hear from their ex. It's called having faith, and you need to have it. And you need to believe that you will hear from your ex and that you will have a chance to get back together. And if you think about it, everything in life actually requires faith. When we go to sleep at night, we have faith that we'll actually wake up in the morning. Or when you go to a restaurant to eat, you have faith that the food is not going to poison you. When you turn the light switch on, you have faith that the light is actually going to come on. If you start an exercise and diet regimen, you have faith that by sticking to it, eventually you'll get to where you want to go. So pretty much everything in life requires some level of faith, and it's no different with no contact. You have to be able to live with some level of uncertainty. There's no way around it. And once you've seen the power of no contact, you will not have any doubt about it. But some people need to see before they believe, I understand. But why do you think that I'm so adamant about how well no contact works? It's because I've seen it work over and over and over with my clients, with the comments that people leave under my videos, and in my own life. Most people are not dismissive avoidance, meaning that if they leave, you will probably hear from them at some point. And even if they are dismissive, if their interest level goes up, you will hear from them. Okay? So keep those two things in mind. The fact that your primitive brain is messing with you, and the fact that no contact requires faith. Now, one last thing. In the video last week, I mentioned that after a year and a half, I heard from a guy that I had seen twice, and he wrote me a very nice email. I said it was the perfect email, and some people are wondering, well, what is this perfect email? So, okay, I will read it to you so that if you need to write a perfect email to someone, you will have a template. Okay, so he goes, "Hey Lucia, I hope you've been well. This is so-and-so. I'm not sure how well you remember me, but we met up a couple of times back in the fall of 2021. Then he gave me a personal compliment. I don't need to repeat that. Then he goes, "First, I want to apologize for not keeping in touch with you. I think I felt a bit nervous and intimidated at the time. I've never connected with a woman like you before and wasn't sure where the connection would take us. I spent a good chunk of the past year traveling, but now I'm back in LA full time. I'm writing to you in hopes that we may reconnect and spend some time together. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you've been on my mind a lot lately." I don't know if I believe that, but that's a good thing to put in. Then another personal compliment, and then shoot me a text if you think, blah, blah, if you want to get together, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. That's the perfect letter if you want to reconnect with someone. And he found my email because he didn't have my email, so he had to find me. So he put in the effort, but I'm still not interested. Okay, so now I want to hear from you. And I want to see if you have had the thought that you will never get your ex back. And did this video help you in relieving the anxiety around that? Comment below. And in the meantime, if you would like my help personally to get your ex back, contact me at theartoflove.net and we will send you the rates. The direct link is below every single video. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, remember to rate and review. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.